The year is 1448, and Wallachia, a region in Romania, has just been ravaged by the Tatars. And during the battle, a young boy watched as his father, the ruler of Wallachia, was beheaded. Not only was this kid traumatized for life, but he also got a taste of revenge when he dipped his bread in his father's blood. Little did he know at the time that this would become a foreshadowing of things to come. Fast forward to 1476, and Vlad is now the ruler of Wallachia, and one of his first acts as prince is to summon the local bakers and demand they bake him some bread. Only this time, instead of dipping it in his own blood, he dips it in the blood of his enemies. Specifically, he takes the blood of the recently slain nobles who opposed him taking the throne and makes them eat it as punishment for their disloyalty. And this wasn't a one-time thing either. Oh no. Vlad earned himself the nickname Vlad the Impaler because he liked to dip his bread in the blood of his enemies any chance he got. Sometimes he even went as far as to throw gold coins from a tower, watching with amusement as common folk fought over the riches, and then cut off their heads and dipped his bread in that blood too. In fact, the stories of Vlad's blood drinking got so out of hand that many people believed he dipped his bread in the blood of infants, which I can neither confirm nor deny. Regardless, Vlad's bloodlust would eventually catch up to him, and he would meet his demise in 1476 during the Battle of Vaslui, where he was killed in battle against the Ottoman Empire. Now, if you think all of that sounds pretty metal, then you're going to love what I have planned for Vlad the Impaler in our campaign setting, starting with his backstory. So grab your imaginary swords and get ready to fight in the name of the blood god, because I have a feeling that you're going to want to hear this. Vlad was born into power as the son of Vlad the Impaler III, a minor noble in the nation of Wallachia. His father ruled over a small portion of land known as the Borgo Pass, which had been passed down through their family for generations. But despite their noble status, they lived a relatively simple life compared to other nobles. In fact, Vlad's father was so humble that he preferred to go by the name of Dracula, which means son of the dragon, rather than use the more traditional noble title of Dracula. And while that might sound like an epic name to us today, trust me, back then, it was really just a way of saying, hey, look, I'm a badass. However, there was nothing badass about being called Dracula. The other nobles hated it and constantly made fun of him behind his back. And it wasn't long before Vlad started to resent his father for choosing such a humiliating name. It didn't help that Vlad was always overshadowed by his older brother Radu, who was everything Vlad wasn't, charismatic, popular, and ruthless. All of the other nobles supported Radu taking over the family business, but not Vlad. They thought Vlad was weak and pathetic, and they were right. At least they were right about Vlad. Being weak and pathetic, he was anything but a fighter. Vlad spent most of his days reading books about history and strategy, dreaming of a time when he could prove everyone wrong and become a powerful ruler. The problem was, he was a terrible judge of character and often found himself betrayed by those he trusted. When Vlad was 14 years old, his father and brother went to war against the Turks, a nomadic tribe that had been terrorizing the region for years. Vlad stayed behind to take care of the family business, but he was forced to flee when the Turks attacked the Borgo Pass. Alone and afraid, he wandered the countryside until he came across a group of gypsies who took him in and taught him the ways of survival. It was here that Vlad learned the skills he would need to survive in the harsh world of politics and warfare. The gypsies taught him how to read people, how to negotiate, and how to fight. And Vlad proved to be a quick learner. Within a few years, he was leading the gypsy clans in raids against the Turks, getting his hands bloody for the first time. But it wasn't enough for Vlad. He wanted more power. And when he heard that his father had died and his brother had taken over the family business, Vlad knew what he had to do. He returned to Wallachia and declared that he was the rightful heir to the throne. The other nobles laughed at him, but Vlad was determined to prove them wrong. He raised an army and marched on the Borgo Pass. The battle was fierce, but in the end, Vlad emerged victorious. He had finally proven to the world that he was more than just a bookish weakling. He was a powerful ruler, feared and respected by all who knew him. From that moment on, Vlad was known as Vlad the Impaler, a title that would become synonymous with his brutal reign of terror. But while Vlad may have become the ruler of Wallachia, he never forgot his roots. He remained close to the gypsies, often spending time with them in the Borgo Pass, where he would regale them with tales of his victories and defeats. It was here that Vlad developed his unique taste for blood, both figuratively and literally, and it was here that he truly felt at home. However, Vlad's reign of terror would eventually come to an end when he was killed in battle against the Ottomans. But his legend would live on, inspiring tales of courage, cunning, and brutality for centuries to come. So yeah, that's the story of Vlad the Impaler, the man who dipped his bread in blood and inspired the myth of Dracula. And let me tell you, we've only scratched the surface here. Vlad is one of the most complex and fascinating characters in history, and we could talk about him for hours. But I don't want to spoil too much for you. You'll just have to wait and see how he shakes down in our game. The best part about Vlad is that he's such a unique character that you wouldn't find him anywhere else. Sure, there are plenty of other campaigns out there that feature historical figures like Dracula, but none of them have the same story, the same powers, or the same personality as Vlad. And let's not forget that Vlad is more than just a blood-dipping maniac. He's a tragic hero whose story is full of betrayal, loss, and vengeance. We can't wait for you to experience his story firsthand and see how his legend began. And hey, if you're still hungry for more lore, why not check out some of our other videos? We've got plenty of other characters and monsters to cover, as well as some awesome mini-games that you can play with your friends. Plus, who knows what other surprises we have in store for you. Just make sure to stay tuned so you never miss an upload, because who knows, you might just learn something new about the world around you, or maybe you'll just have a lot of fun scaring your friends with some cool monster facts. Either way, it's a win-win. And remember, whether you're a fan of Vlad the Impaler or just looking for a good time, we've got something for you here. Thanks for watching.